Students will rally here in Billings this weekend in response to the 17 victims killed down in Parkland, Florida on Valentine's Day.
The rally is part of March for Our Lives and involves more than 800 events nationwide this Saturday. The Billings rally starts at the Yellowstone County Courthouse lawn, and at 10 o'clock Saturday morning, the students will talk about ending gun violence and will advocate for sensible gun legislation. Now, the march will proceed down 3rd Avenue North, turn around at North 24th, and then come back down 2nd Avenue North to the federal courthouse.
We need to start at reforming gun legislation in this country, as I think it's outdated considering the caliber of weapons we have today. We want to see something change. So our march is to empower the students and the adults to step up and tell our legislators that something needs to change.
Sophia and Paloma Whitwer say they expect perhaps as many as 500 people in town for Saturday's march. That includes students from schools outside of Billings.
Over the years, Congress has struggled to pass some form of legislation on guns. Each time, Washington has fallen short, even when it comes to bipartisan proposals.
Kristen Holmes reports tonight on why it's been so difficult, and in the aftermath of the Parkland shooting, will the result be different this time?
With more than 2 decades since the last major gun control legislation was passed,
don't tell me this bill will not make a difference.
The issue remains one of the most polarizing in America.
Parents have sent their children to a place where they ended up not being safe.
We all have a Second Amendment right as Americans, if we choose to exercise it, to own a gun.
Making it nearly impossible for Congress to act, despite some bipartisan calls for action and years of mass shootings. 1999, 2 teenage students and a small arsenal. A massacre that left 12 students and 1 teacher dead. 2012, 20 children and 6 adults gunned down at an elementary school in Connecticut.
As a country, we have been through this too many times.
And 5 weeks ago, 17 people killed at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School in Florida by a former student, reigniting the gun debate in Washington and across the country. But so far, the path forward remains unclear.
Those who oppose gun control care so intensely, so deeply about it, that they will often be single-issue voters.
Some Democrats say the NRA's deep pockets and power are to blame.
Politicians are petrified by the National Rifle Association.
While some Republicans, including President Trump, largely oppose measures they say could violate the Second Amendment and want to arm and train some school officials.
It's concealed, and I think it brings great safety.
After Newtown, Connecticut enacted some of the toughest gun laws in the country. Florida, referred to by some as the gun-shine state for its relaxed gun laws, passed sweeping gun reform earlier this month. But the Parkland students aren't giving up on national change, descending on Washington with throngs of their supporters this weekend, calling on lawmakers to act.
If they can continue this and organize people for the November elections, it's possible that they can produce something in the next Congress.
Work together, come over your politics, and get something done.
Young survivors hoping to bridge the divide in the nation's capital over an issue that's split the country for decades. In Washington, I'm Kristen Holmes.
Well, up next in weather.